I have no aim, I have no brain, I am a shotgun main. Do you want a build that takes little to no actual skill to use? A build that works well even on 1 down difficulty? A build that'll treat you right after a long shitty day at work and make you feel like all is right in the world? Well, this is the setup for you. So this right here is probably one of my favorite builds to run for 1 down. First I'll go over the skills I'm going to use, then the weapons, same as usual. I haven't really decided if this build is going to be the shotgun build that I want to share with you guys, since this isn't a completely free build and you guys really like the free ones, so maybe, maybe not. Anyway, let's start. Today we're going to be using an armor and dodge build, trying to get the most out of both. As such, we'll be picking up the Enforcer armor skills as well as Ghost's dodge skills. In Enforcer, I have Resilience Aced, Die Hard and Transporter Basic, Bullseye Aced, and Iron Man Basic. In Ghost, I have Duck and Cover, Parkour, and Inner Pockets Aced, and Sneaky Bastard Basic. Now, since we have picked up Sneaky Bastard and we will be shooting for under 5 visibility, our next logical step is also to pick up crits as well. I have Second Wind Basic, Optical Illusions Aced because I need that extra little help for concealment, and Low Blow Basic. For today, we'll also be focusing on using a weaker weapon for 1 down. As such, we'll need to boost the damage output a bit more than usual. So in Fugitive, I've picked up Martial Arts Basic, Bloodthirst, Berserker, and Frenzy all aced. Now we're getting Berserker for a massive boost in damage to our ranged weapons, and Frenzy, well, to help proc Berserker, and it's also nice for that sweet damage reduction that pairs nicely with all the armor stuff we picked up in Enforcer. And last but not least, shotgun skills. Underdog, Shotgun CQB, and Shotgun Impact Ace, and Overkill Basic, for all that glorious damage and reload speed. Now so far with the build, I don't have a good set of assets to bring to the table, so I went ahead and got Double Meds, which is Combat Medic Painkillers Basic, and Combat Doctor Aced. You could also go for ammo instead, but for today's build, ammo will not be a concern at all with the type of weapons we're using. With a very few skill points remaining, I tried really hard to pick up some useful stuff for 1 down. In Mastermind, I went with Forced Friendship Basic, a little bit of Drill Skills and Technician with Hardware Expert and Drill Sergeant Basic, slight boost in accuracy with Steady Grip, and of course in Fugitive, 9 lives aced. For my perk deck, I'll be using the Anarchist perk deck to give me ICTV-like armor while still having just the slightest bit of dodge. If you haven't seen Anarchist before, what it does is it gives you a huge boost in your armor, but at the cost of normal regeneration. You can only regenerate armor if you deal damage, which is not going to be a problem with this setup. Today's main weapon focus will be the Street Sweeper Shotgun, which is a secondary shotgun, and I have this modified with Triple Aught Buck, Suppressed Barrel, Concealment Boost, and Compact Laser Module. For my primary weapon, I'm using the Cavity 9mm, modded with Low Profile Suppressor, Concealment Boost, Appellation Foregrip, and the Compact Laser Module. For my melee, the Electrical Brass Knuckles, Throwable Doll Grenade, Equipment Doctor Bag, and 2-piece suit. So this one took a lot of playing around with. I went with a lot of different little adjustments, and this is what I finally came up with. So the entire premise of this build was to make a decent Street Sweeper setup that'll work on 1 down difficulty. For a weapon, it's a little weak, but it shines in other areas. It has godlike ammo pickup, a large magazine, and with the skill setup we've got, it'll still be able to pack quite a punch when built correctly. Now, when you were saying that this build doesn't need any skill to be used, what did you mean by that? Well, first let's just go over how shotguns work in this game. Shotguns, unlike assault rifles or pistols, they don't shoot a bullet at a time. What they shoot are a spread of pellets. Now, normally, games calculate how many of those pellets hit for how much damage is going to be dealt, with each pellet doing a little bit of damage. However, in Payday, shotguns are dumb. Each pellet has the potential to do the full amount of damage the shotgun is capable of. So what does that mean? Well, that means you don't have to hit an enemy with the majority of the pellets to do substantial damage. In fact, all you need to do is barely graze them, and you'll be doing your job. Pair this with a low accuracy shotgun, and you won't need to aim much at all as long as you're looking in the general direction of the enemy. It's super easy to get headshots and collaterals using shotguns in this game. And for that reason, this build requires little to no actual skill to use. Hence, the no aim of the no aim, no brain shotgun main. And, well, for the no brain part, we already all qualify for that part since we played this game. In all seriousness, though, This mechanic is one of the main reasons why shotguns are so easy to use in this game. Not only that, but shotguns have a wide variety of weapon types and skills that make them absolutely amazing. For the skills, you have extra damage, faster reload, larger magazines, faster rate of fire, even more damage on top of that damage. And with the shotgun types themselves, there are weaker shotguns, and then there are shotguns for pure damage, like the double barrels. There are also shotguns that can use different ammo types. Actually, all of them can use different ammo types, whether it's fire rounds, armor piercing, explosive rounds, what have you. There was a little bit of talk a while back that Overkill was going to change how shotguns work in favor of traditional shotgun mechanics, with each pellet doing their own damage, and you would have to get the majority of the pellets to hit to do any substantial damage. But I never really heard any more about that, there was some talk about it. I don't even know if it was official talk, but it was just kind of out there. So, well, the shotguns are still the way they are, and hopefully they stay this way. But, in Overkill fashion, once I talk about it, they'll change it, so this video becomes completely invalid. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about this build. Like I mentioned earlier, one of the main strengths of the Street Sweeper is overall good ammo. Good ammo pickup, good ammo pool, large magazine. But it lacks a little bit in the damage department. For that reason, I went with Berserker and Fugitive, which boosts damage output immensely as long as I have low health. To complement that, I took Frenzy so that I would be in a perpetual state of low health all the time. And here's where I wasn't really too sure what to do, I tried out a regular rogue build, a crook build that focused on beefing up the armor. I even tried other perk decks like Maniac and Biker just to see how they would feel using this setup. But by far, Anarchist seemed to work the best. Anarchist Frenzy setups are like peanut butter and jelly, they just jam well together. I also wanted to get a crit setup going, so the combination of crits and Berserker makes even the weakest weapons feel as strong as snipers or revolvers. So I picked up Low Blow, Sneaky Bastard, getting crits, extra dodge, and what I ended up is a mix of super heavy armor, even in a suit, and some meager dodge. I actually gave this setup a try with the lightweight ballistic vest and just ignoring the dodge altogether, going for full armor. While it was definitely interesting having the speed of a suit with 270 armor, I think I actually preferred having the suit with 205 armor and 15 dodge instead, which is what it is right now. Well, on another note, for any people that have been asking for a build that uses both dodge and armor, here it is. A small blend between both that I think actually works pretty nicely. It's actually a fairly unorthodox thing to shoot for, picking up what is essentially all of the Enforcer armor skills to complement the skill Frenzy, while still wearing only a suit. But it ends up working pretty nicely. Unfortunately, the point-heavy nature of this build means that I can't actually pick up the other worthwhile skills for the team, and for one down. I have double meds, but no Inspire. I would love to pick up stuff like drill skills, maybe Jokers, even Swan Song, but there's just not enough points to go around for that. So, a little bit selfish, but in the wise words of a friend of mine, if I'm doing well, that means the team is doing well. Which is actually a horrible mentality for a lot of reasons, but for today, let's be a little selfish, shall we? If you've noticed so far, this entire setup is basically just to boost up the Street Sweeper into 1-down viability. I've pretty much completely ignored the rest of my setup. And for good reason, too, My primary here doesn't actually really matter that much. 90% of the time, I'm just going to be using the Street Sweeper. It can make quick work of nearly every enemy, which includes bulldozers. I only really use my primary to kill snipers or kill bulldozers to save on ammo, and in general, it just doesn't get used that much. That's not to say that the Keltec Sub-2K is useless, mind you. In fact, it's probably one of the best weapons in the game with its DMR-like damage and accuracy, while still being able to get as high as 32 concealment with the right skills and mods. The only other weapons that can get to 32 concealment are the Car 4, the AS Val. I think the Akimbo M9s might be able to. I'm not too sure. But the point being is very few weapons can actually get that high of concealment. And you need a weapon that can reach 32 concealment to get your Street Sweeper within 5 visibility. A 31 concealment weapon gets you to 6, if I'm correct. So you're just a point off from getting the maximum crits and dodge possible. Not a huge deal, but since we are going this far for this setup, we might as well take the last step. Now, for those of you that haven't watched the last laser gun video, or you don't attend my streams on Twitch, you're probably confused as to why I spend so much effort making the Street Sweeper good. And that, my friends, is because of aesthetic. the Silent Street Sweeper is by far one of the coolest sounding weapons in the game. It sounds like a fucking laser gun from one of the futuristic space video games. Not only that, but the weapon itself is probably one of the more undesirable shotguns to the general public, you know? How often would people prefer having this over the Judge or the Locomotive? Not many. So we wanted to make a, well, I say we, as in me and Soze, we just wanted to have a build that would work well with the Street Sweeper. You know, through this hyper-specific setup, you should be able to tell from the gameplay that it is by no means mediocre. Pretty good alternative to this is the Saiga, spec with concealment mods and the close by skill for a larger mag, but since we're completely strapped for points here, I hold out on picking up close by. So you could definitely take this setup with you for 1 down difficulty. You could even take it with you on Crime Spree as well, but you know, for me I prefer a little bit of a different setup for that game mode. But there you have it, in a nutshell. A remade laser gun build that works for 1 down difficulty. I hope you guys enjoyed it.